Kid Buu. When Super Buu turns into Kid Buu, they go, ah! Chris would say, ah! Going into his potential, going into his ultimate form. Goku going into Super Saiyan 3, Vegeta going into Super Saiyan 2. They would go, ah! Triple teaming him. And Buu is just, they say, Final Kame Legendary, ha! Kame, Final Legendary Kame, Legendary, so Final Kame Legendary, ha! Incinerating Buu with nothing left. A couple of years later, I'm gonna say about 2 years later, Beerus awakens and goes to Earth, looking for a Super Saiyan God. Goku is on King Kai's world, while Christian is just practicing his ultimate form on the Supreme Kai world. The first place they go to is King Kai's world. Goku would get bodied, then they'd go to Supreme Kai's world to fight the next one. Christian says, ha! Going into his ultimate form, saying, da-na-na-na. He rushes towards Beerus, hitting him with actually a pretty decent punch, actually sending him flying back. He says, what? This mortal is actually doing a lot. Beerus would then retaliate with an even stronger punch, knocking him straight out, sending him flying back, actually. He goes, duh! Then Christian holds his grip and says, duh! Going in 2. Now this is not full power Legendary Super Saiyan. This is not full power Super Saiyan. This is just like the Legendary Super Saiyan from the Broly movie. From the first Broly movie. He says, this is Mystic! This is Mystic Legendary Super Saiyan! Then rushes towards and punches Beerus so hard that it sends him flying back. Then they start to box, and it's really Beerus winning this fight. Christian says, ah! Beerus says, God of Destruction's anger, and puts one finger forward. A blast comes out and knocks Christian straight out. He goes, ah! Then he's healed by the Kaizen sent to Earth. He goes, ah! Saying that no one's touching him. He says, you touched my planet and I'll kill you right now. Beerus says, I already defeated you. Well, Goku is still not there, though. They have to fight off Beerus. Well, Christian says, ah! Pulling out the Z-Sword because they sealed something else in it. Ah! But then the sword breaks. He goes, damn it, how strong is this God? He's just boxing. All of them are just fighting Beerus with full power, and they can't really do anything. Nothing's working. Beerus threatens to destroy, and Goku arrives. Then they try and propose a Super Saiyan God. Beerus decides to choose someone who is the strongest competitor. So he allows Goku, Vegeta, and Christian to fight him. The first person is Goku, and Goku would get pretty much bodied. Even though Goku's at full power, he would still get defeated. Next, Vegeta. Vegeta would get pretty much bodied except for his rage boost. That would do a lot to Beerus. Not a lot though. Like it would still be a normal rage boost. Next, Christian. He goes, ah! Going into Mystic Legendary Super Saiyan. Then he rushes right towards, saying, you will die today! Actually putting up a really good fight against Beerus, because this is almost equivalent to the Super Saiyan God, just a little bit weaker. Actually, it's like 5 times weaker than Super Saiyan God. It can't really do a lot to Beerus. He goes, yeah! Punching him right in the face. Then Beerus would knock him back, and they would all be defeated. He says, I say the Saiyan with the green and white aura should be it. He says, okay, they have Goku, Vegeta, Christian, Goten, Trunks, Gohan. They have everyone they need. They still announce that Pan is going to be born. Next is the Buu arc. Not the Buu arc. Next is up the second Super Saiyan God. He turns into he goes, oh right, this power is awesome. He goes, ah! Going into his mystic form, also upgrading the form even stronger. He goes, ha! Making his power equivalent to Super Saiyan, a little bit stronger, well, actually a tiny bit weaker than Super Saiyan Blue. He starts the fight with Beerus, actually being equal, sending bigger shockwaves than him and Goku did. So in the boxing match, basically, I'm gonna call this, he's fighting Beerus at full power. He says, 100% of Super Saiyan God! Ah! His aura turns a tiny bit purple, but it stays in its nice red aura, and he goes, "Ah!" punching Beerus right in the face, saying, "Super God Fist!" and says, "You're not winning! Beerus, this Earth doesn't belong to you! Ah! Dragon Fist!" Ah! Hitting Beerus with the strongest Dragon Fist ever, sending Beerus flying down to Earth. But then Beerus would fly right back up and say, "God of Destruction's anger." Christian would say, "Ah, legendary God Kamehameha!" Boom, boom. Actually doing decent amount of damage. Actually blowing up Beerus' Spear of Destruction, but also making him lose the fight. Beerus would spare the planet because of how much of a great fight Beerus had. Beerus would have never had a good fight with the other two being Super Saiyan gods. So, he spares the planet and allows two of them to train. The two to train are Goku, Vegeta. Those two will be training on Whis' planet while Christian stays here a little bit until he finds out. When he finds out that those two are training, he says, "Please let me train under you, Whis." He says, "Okay, you are Lord Beerus' strongest challenger." He says, "I want to stop relying on this ultimate form. Can you take it off?" He says, "Sure." And he disables ultimate form forever until Christian decides that he wants his ultimate form back. But he does not want it. He wants to focus on the new transformations of God Ki. So what he does is he starts training in the and Goku and Vegeta finally unlock Super Saiyan God. And then they finally are training for another 6 months and get Super Saiyan Blue! Now Frieza's attack. When Frieza attacks Earth, the three Saiyans would be there a lot earlier. And when it starts, it's Goku's turn. Instantly, Goku would get losing in canon like he originally did. Next, Vegeta. Vegeta would actually defeat Frieza until he's low. Chris would say, "Legendary Kamehameha!" Killing Frieza right there and then. Moving on to the Goku Black arc. Actually, no, it's the Universe 6 Tournament arc. Christian is soon to be named the next Supreme Kai. So, when Christian is named the Supreme Kai, he's actually a Supreme Kai, except he wants to be a fighting Supreme Kai, and Kibito was actually surpassed. Kibito accepts his fate, saying that he was surpassed by a Saiyan. He says, "Kibito, would you like to be my assistant?" He says, "Oh, that would be nice." He says, "I will be doing the fighting, you will be doing the creating, because I will defend this world." Then one day Christian's powering up one day in the Kai world going, "Ah!" Oh yeah, and Supreme Kai might die since, Christian decides, "Supreme Kai, you're a good guy. So, Shenron, I wish for Supreme Kai to be immortal." He says, "Okay, he shall be immortal." Once he's named immortal, that's what happens. Now I'll be right back. What's going on, guys? Same what you're doing Oh wait, no, I didn't mean to say that. So basically, they teleport to you. So basically, Christian would ask, "Where's the best place to Where's the best place to train a Keyblade?" Kibito Shin, who actually isn't fused, actually it's Kibito, and Shin say, "How about Universe 10? They have a lot of good ones." He says, "That seems like a good one. They could probably train me." He says, "And they'll accept you since you're not immortal. You're a god." Then they kai to Thing's place, Goasu's place, and they say, "Hello." And Zamasu says, "What is a mortal doing here?" Christian appears right in front of him and puts a blast to his face and says, "I'm not immortal. I'm a Kai." He says, "Oh, then I am sorry." shall we have a peace treaty? Christian says, hell yeah! They go, yep, and they high five. He says, we shouldn't be so fancy, even if we're Kais. We should be friendly to everyone. If we're friendly to everyone, then people wouldn't be so afraid of us, and they'd actually be nice to us. Then the universe would be at peace. He says, that's pretty good. He says, but why were you guys here? He says, Christian says, I want to learn how to use Keyblades, like you guys, because I've heard that Universe 10 is quite capable with Keyblades. He says, yes. Goasu walks out and says, yes, we are. He says, there's the answer. He says, alright. So Christian is training in Universe 10 for about a month, trying to master Keyblades, and also getting Goasu and Shin and Kibito, getting Kibito and Shin, and also some tea. And Goasu. Well, him and Zamasu train their Keyblades. Zamasu getting some really good training is actually pretty happy, because he'll be able to defend the universe better in case the God of Destruction can't do it, because he's training with a Kai almost stronger than their god. So, after a month of training, Christian can master his Keyblade. His base form Keyblade is about a blue Keyblade. But when they head back and they thank them, Christian promises something good. He gives them 25 rice balls, sticky rice balls, and the best tea on earth. And he also brings some instant ramen. He says, this stuff is the best you'll ever like, he says. This stuff is awesome. You must try this, Zamasu. So when Zamasu tries it, he's like, that is delicious. He says, yep. So then they head back to Universe 7. Beerus is like, Supreme Kai, help me. Christian says, what's up, Beerus? He says, wait, you're not Supreme Kai? He says, yes, I am. I'm now the new Supreme Kai. And he says, is Shin gonna die? He says, no, I asked Shinra to make him immortal so he can live on with us. He says, okay. He says, you do realize you're gonna stay your age forever. He says, yeah, I know. Christian says, hey, Vegeta, are you planning on becoming the next God of Destruction? He says, no, I will not. Beerus says, oh, do you take that as a challenge, Vegeta? He says, no, I wasn't planning on becoming a god yet. Christian says, yeah, yet. He says, I want to, he's also, then Beerus asks, where were you guys for an entire month? Christian says, I was learning how to manifest ki and do this. Creating a Keyblade. Christian is not a full Supreme Kai. He's like still a Supreme Kai in training. He could still evolve into mortal matters because he's still technically immortal. He just told that to Zamasu because he knows Zamasu hates mortals and he wants to be a normal person. So, moving on to the Universe 6 tournament. Basically, when this would happen, he asked Beerus, is this allowed if I join in? He says, I don't know, you're a Kai in training. He says, whatever, you could be in it. Goku says, oh, right! He says, Goku, I have a new form that I'd like to show you when we get there. He says, cool. Christian is rocking the nice garb of the Supreme Kai. He asked if they can fix up the Supreme Kai garb for this. And it's like a black and red color, black and blue color, and the pants are black. And he says, yep, this is awesome. He says, thanks, Supreme Kai, for the new clothes designs. He goes, that was so cool. I want to create more. He says, Beerus, do you like the color black? He says, yes. He says, well, then why don't you add your black to your God of Destruction outfit? He says, cause I cannot change a god's you cannot change a god outfit. He says, did I just break a mortal rule? He says, what do you mean? He says, Supreme Kai changed my outfit up because it looks much better. He says, alright, that is fine. That is fine. I don't mind that. That actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure Zeno would like it. He says, who's Zeno? He says, you don't know Grand Zeno? He says, isn't that like the Almighty God, I think? The Almighty God of the universes? He says, you're not trembling when you hear his name? He says, no, because I don't even know who that is. He goes, damn, Immortal, you need more respect for gods. He says, why? I'm literally about to become a god in the next years. In the next couple of years, I'll be a Supreme Kai. He says, yeah, but everyone respects Zeno. You don't respect Zeno, you get erased. He goes, fine, Beerus. When the tournament starts, it would be Goku up against Botamo. Goku would pretty much body And the next one, Goku versus Frost. Frost would defeat Goku. Christian would jump in the ring and say, it's my turn. He says, Ciampa says, hey, that's cheating! That's a Supreme Kai! Christian says, I'm not a Supreme Kai. I'm a Supreme Kai in training, so technically I'm not a Kai. And watch your mouth, dude. He says, you watch your mouth, I'm a god! He says, yeah, I got and there's also a mortal on your team that's stronger than you. Everyone in Universe 7 is going like... Even Vegeta gets a good laugh out of it. Even Universe 6 members get a good laugh out of it. Even Vado says it. Even Vado starts to laugh. He goes... Ciampa says, I'll destroy you. Christian says, and I'll destroy you. He says, wanna go? He says, yeah, you know what? After this tournament, we're fighting. He says, alright. Christian instantly powers up to Super Saiyan and absolutely destroys absolutely destroys your boy, absolutely wrecks Frost. Frost doesn't even stand a chance. He's like freaking Olaf, except not in the snow. Okay, that sounded cringe, but whatever. Chris would absolutely body him. Next up is Cabba. Christian decides to be nice and want to train Cabba. So basically, when Cabba comes in, he says, hey, turn into Super Saiyan. I want a good fight. He says, I don't know how to. He says, what? He says, alright, Cabba. You don't want Super Saiyan in the next 10 seconds? I'll kill everyone you know. I'll kill the Saiyans on planet Potifu. Wait, no, not Potifu. I'll kill all the Saiyans, everyone you know. I'll kill everyone you love. He goes, you will not hurt anyone I love. Supreme Kai says, that's not very Kai-like. Christian winks at Supreme Kai and says, did he just wink? He says, there you go, you're in Super Saiyan, now fight me. He goes, what the? He goes, ah! Christian would catch his punch and spin him around and then one-shot him in the gut. Going, next would be Vegeta. Christian would say, final flash. I'm kidding. He runs up to him and says, you piece of junk, get the hell out of my face. And punches Vegeta right where it hurts. And he goes, and just quits out of the ring. He says, hey, bring my fuss. He says, this Kai is really not good at being a Kai. He's really insulted. Next is Hit. Christian says, I sense your energy. You're really good. He says, going straight into Super Saiyan Blue. He says, you're gonna be a worthy challenger! Rushing right towards him, and then punching him right in the gut, actually doing something. Then Hit would disappear, come right behind him, and punches him in the back. He goes, shoot! Then flies forward and goes, doom! Then he pulls out his Keyblade and goes, cutting Hit right in the face. Then they start to fight, and they start to do like their long Dragon Ball clashing. They go, boom! Hit starts to power up and goes into his next stage of pure progress. Then the side goes to Hit. Christian's trying to dodge most of Hit's attack, but his time skip. Then Hit goes even stronger, actually bodying Christian. Now he doesn't even get a chance to fight back. He goes, hey! Christian says, shoot! He says, Hit is about to knock him out. Christian grabs his fist and says, I'm not done yet! Supreme Kai Shin is like, the ground starts to shake. He goes, what the? He throws him back and goes, and then, give me a second. Super Saiyan God. Divine music. Dragon Ball. Super Saiyan Rose music. Alright, people, I got the right music for this. Here we go, he goes. Turning into, he says, this is Super Saiyan Rose Christian Black. This is Super Saiyan Rose Christian. He says, going right up, and then the Keyblade turns pink and slices Hit, going, then kicking him up in the air, going, don't be done like that. It says, you don't know your place. Then kicks Hit down again, doing so much to him, then bouncing him all around the room. He says, what the? That's so strong! He goes, ah! Then he says, Rose Kamehameha! Hit gets hit by that a lot harder. Then he appears right in front of him, kicking him in the face. Saying, ah! He goes, ah! He says, you will die today! Then he appears, going like super swiftly, kicks him right in the stomach. Then he goes, and then he appears right behind Hit, grabbing him by the throat. Not really, like holding him into a chokehold, then putting a blast to his back, and then blasting him. He goes, oh! Hit falls right to the floor, and he kicks him right up in the air, playing like what Rock Lee did to Gaara. This time it actually hurts. He goes, he says, meteor crash! He says, Lord Beerus, isn't he gonna kill him? He goes, no, he'll be fine. He goes, there's no stopping now. You will die today. He goes, going even further beyond. I'm about to do something I've never done. He says to Hit,
calling you the opening act is a weak metaphor. It's much more like you're just the appetizer. That's right.
Then he yells,
but while you've trained to an incredible degree, you remain nothing more than a mortal being. This is Super
Saiyan Rose Christian Black.
This is it, Saiyans. For the sake of our most glorious project, you will die today!
That's what he says to Hit. You will die today! Then swiftly kicks him so hard in the stomach that Hit almost dies and gets knocked out straight away. And says, ah! Then appearing right behind him, stabbing him with a Keyblade. Hit is literally almost dead. He's knocked out. And then he kicks Hit at the ring, saying, ah! He says, I need a bigger challenge than this. This wasn't even that hard. He calls out a Rose, and he says, Goku goes in Super Saiyan Blue and says, he goes, ah, that was so awesome! They clap hands with Goku actually sending Christian back, because Christian's in his face form, and Goku's in Super Saiyan Blue, and they high five, he'd go flying back. He goes, ah, jeez, Goku, you don't know your own strength. Then Champa says, no! That's it, mortal! I'm gonna fight you! Then they go to the middle of the stage, and when they start fighting, Christian says, ah, he says, you don't know your place. He says, oh my god, the stupid ad of Young Heroes, that game is so dumb, it's not even what it looks like. It has terrible graphics, doesn't even look good. Damn it! He goes,
the opening act is a weak metaphor. It's much more like you're just the appetizer. That's right. But while you've trained to an incredible degree, you remain nothing more than a mortal being.
When he says that, Champa says, I'm a god! He says, Super Saiyan, Rose Christian Black. Saiyan, this project, you will die today. And then goes into Super Saiyan Rose, appearing right next to him, kicking him so hard. And Zamasu was actually watching this. He says, yeah, even Zamasu's like, go! He says, no way. He goes, Gosu says, are you cheering on your friend? He says, definitely. He's fighting a god right now, and he's using godly strength. That is awesome. He goes, zipping right past him. Zipping right past Champa, kicking him right in the stomach. He goes, oh! Then he just starts destroying Champa, saying, you will die today! Cutting Champa right in the stomach, then going, then kicking him so far, and then he cracks. Then Zeno comes. These two are still fighting, and they don't run into Zeno. Person punches him right in the gut, sending Zamasu falls, flying down. Right next to Zeno, he says, oh no! Zeno! He goes, Arr! Then appearing right below Champa, picking up, grabbing him, saying, how dare you? Then grabs Champa and slams him. He says, Zeno says, thank you. He says, my apologies, your majesties. Your majesty. He says, no, it's okay. Thank you. That was a really cool fight. He says, really? Even Zamasu and Gowasu are scared of that. They think he's gonna get all their universe destroyed for talking to Zeno. He says, then Goku walks up, and Zamasu's like, that stupid mortal, don't! They're like, no. Then the TV shuts off. Then Goku does a little talk to Zeno, and then Christian says, you know what, I want to be your friend too, Zeno. They both pick him up and say, woohoo! He says, and for our meeting, Zeno, boop, gives them 20 lollipops and says, these are for you, don't eat them all at once, that'll hurt. He says, wow, thank you. The Zeno guard is about to smack it away, saying, that might be poison, your majesty. Christian grabs his hand and says, let the god do what he wants. Beerus is like, ah! He says, let the god do what he wants. He's the king of he's the Omni King, right? He can erase you if he wants. Let him do what he wants. I'm just trying to be nice. He says, oh yeah, Zeno, if you ever need anything, if you ever want to play or something, call me and I can do something fun. He says, wow! Now moving on to the Goku Black arc, Christian is training with Supreme Kai, actually trying to train him to be stronger. Going, ah! Then Christian realizes that Zamasu gets thoughts of killing Gowasu and taking that mortal's body. He says, So, basically, thing arrives. Basically, Zeno calls Christian and Goku. Well, actually, no, that hasn't happened yet. Basically, future Trunks would arrive, and Christian would appear right over. And they wouldn't really need Senzu Beans, because they got a Kai healer. When Christian says, Kai, he's right in front of Trunks, healing him up. Trunks would instantly wake up, and Trunks would instantly try and punch Christian. He goes, ah! Christian would say, whoa! He says, you killed my mother. He says, whoa. I didn't kill Bulma! He says, wait, how did you even know my mom was Bulma? He says, I remember you, Trunks. He spins Trunks around, he gets dizzy, and then knocks him out and says he needs to calm down. Trunks wakes up 10 minutes later. He says, then he actually looks at Goku and says, you! Ah! Christian again appears in front of Trunks, blocking his punch, saying, calm down, that's just Goku. Not any other weird person in your universe. He says, what's going on, Trunks? He says, there's an evil Goku in my universe. He says, Zamasu, he thinks in his head, Zamasu, what are you thinking? You're not supposed to do that. Christian says, Supreme Kai, come with me. Shin and him teleport to Universe 10. He says, Zamasu, I need to have a quick chat with you. He says, what is it? He says, do you have thoughts of stealing Goku's body? He says, well, why would I ever? He says, yes. He says, why is that? He said, and then Zamasu says, a mortal should not have that much power in their body. It's just not right. He says, He says Goku got that from hard work, and then he got to train with Whis, which actually helped him improve. So Goku, he's not really inferior powers, that's actually God Ki. It's not really inferior. He says that's actually pretty. Then he tries to trick he tries to get Zamasu out of trying to steal Goku's body in the present, and he does. He says, "Okay, Zamasu, I'm glad we could have that chat. Just don't do this, cause then Beerus might destroy you if you try and steal this Goku's body." He says, "And you don't want to be destroyed." He says, "What happened in that universe?" He says, "He stole Goku's body from a random timeline, and now I have to go back and fight with this." He says, "Okay." Then he teleports back, and then already he sees Goku Black. It's gonna be original Goku Black. He says, "Who's that?" He appears right in front of Goku Black and says, "Who are you?" And puts a blast to his face and says, "Oh, the Kai of Universe 7, the Kai in training. I heard you're strong." He says, "Let's see how strong." Person just snaps his fingers, and then the time portal, and he kicks him right back into the future. I'm kidding, he wouldn't. He'd say, "Nah, Goku can fight you." He goes, "I don't feel like fighting you. You're boring." So Goku would fight him, and everything would go normal. When he goes there, and Black actually blows up his time machine, he goes, "No!" He says, Christian says, "Yes! Yes, 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 yes!" He goes, "Why are you so happy?" He says, "So I can finally use the time ring." He says, "Supreme Kai Shin, may I use the time ring for this? It's very important." He says, "Yes," and puts the time ring on him. And he says, "Let's go." And travels back to Future Trunks' timeline, jumping right in. No, that wouldn't make any sense, because Goku Black wouldn't have gotten Rosé then. So a couple of months later, actually, Christian would... Well, actually, once the time machine is fixed, that would be pretty good. So then, once the time machine is fixed, Goku and Christian are actually called to Zeno's place. When they go, he goes, "Ah!" They kai to Zeno's place and then walk in. He says, "Yo, Zenny! Goku! Christian!" He says, "Zeno, remember what I told you? We got a surprise." He said, "Where are all the lollipops? Did you eat them already?" He says, "Yep." He says, "Did you do it at once?" He says, "No." He says, "Good, because then that would have been bad." He says, "Alright, so what do you want to do?" He says, "Let's play." Krillin says, "Goku, we got time. Vegeta can handle Goku Black." He whispers in Goku's ear so he can't hear him. He says, "Trunks has got Goku Black ready." He says, "Trunks can deal with Goku Black. Trunks and Vegeta can." He says, "Okay then. Right now we gotta play with Zeno for a while." He says, "I actually haven't gotten any time to play or anything since I was a child." He says, "Alright Zeno, I have something super fun. You ready?" He says, "What is it?" He snaps his fingers in a ginormous bouncy house that's 20 times bigger than Zeno. Well, actually, like, way bigger. It's really big. He says, "Boom! A bouncy house." He says, "We could move this to a smaller space, or just make it small enough for only Zeno to fit." He says, "We'll keep it like this, and we'll just send it to somewhere else." He says, "Okay." They bounce on it. They're all like, "Woohoo!" Goku and Christian say at the same time, "We haven't had this fun since we were children. This is awesome." Christian says, "Not only that, Zeno, I have something else." "What is it?" He says. He shows Zeno something cool. He creates a key ball and lets it. He moves it all around himself. He goes, "Ha ha!" He goes, "Wow!" He says, "Also, want to see something else fun?" He goes, "Yeah!" He goes, "Hua-cha!" Basically, he summons something else. He gives them all Nerf guns, except Goku breaks his instantly. He goes, "Dang it, Goku, why did you have to break it?" He snaps in a real gun this time and gives it both to Zeno and to Goku, and they have to shoot at him. He shoots at him and he catches all the bullets. Then they want to show Zeno something cool. He says, Christian summons the strongest piece of Catentite, then places it down. Goku punches it, and it doesn't even get close, and cracks it. Christian says, crushing the Catentite. He says, Zeno, here, have some toys. He summons some toys from Zeno. He says, also, summoning in a clone of him to always be there for Zeno. So then that's it for part 5.